So what a tremendous race between two of them. One stage it looked as though Funky Sensation was going to be okay after 3 out, and then KINONDO KWETU gives Will Biddick a double here this afternoon at Trebudannon. And I did have to text the part owner, Charlie Post, to ask what on earth that name means, and hence I've become something of an expert on Kenyan beach resorts. I think it might have been part of the honeymoon, actually, of Charlie Post, who owns this with his wife, Fran Nimmo, who's the trainer. And the result being confirmed as first number 5, KINONDO KWETU. It's good to know the announcer here is having as much difficulty getting his tongue around it as I am. So that's a double for Will Biddick. And his big rival, James King, has had a double at Garthorpe this afternoon. So James King, I think there's one race to go at Garthorpe. Is there a flat race still to go? Then James King, is 1 in front of Will Biddick. And as Will pointed out on the live stream earlier, if you were with us when he was chatting, it's going to be really competitive, nip and tuck through the concluding weeks of the season, because it's going to go right the way through until the second weekend in June. And Will was saying he's been champion 7 times, but he's tended to be runaway champion, but this could be really quite a struggle. James King 1 in front of Will Biddick, but lots of fixtures to go. But great to hear from Will that James was checking up on Will's rides, and Will's been checking up on James's rides. And you may have gathered that earlier on in the afternoon, the men's open, Biddick was successful in that race, and he took over the ride on Los Alamos from Darren Edwards, having rung him up and asked him whether he might consider stepping down. And Darren Edwards' charity in doing that has been rewarded by the fact he's had 3 winners here this afternoon. We might get some betting news on that last race of the afternoon, because quite a gamble, I think, thwarted on Funky Sensation. Yeah, so what price was this one with a difficult to pronounce name?
Well, the market got it totally wrong, because KINONDO KWETU was put in at even money very early. He's returned 3 to 1. Funky Sensation was back from 2 into 4 to 5. And then for the bookmakers at Macastoway, every bet I saw was each way. That sneaked in the third at 6 to 1 from 10.
So, and actually, those that were on Funky Sensation would have thought at the end of the back straight that they were okay, but I kept saying to myself, there's nothing wrong with Jake Bammond, who's riding Funky Sensation, but Will Biddick is hugely experienced, and he will use every trick in the book if he's got there to try and encourage his horse on. Yeah,
and anybody that fancied Will's, they've got some value, 3 to 1, a better even money chance, really.
Yeah, excellent. And all in all, the bookmaker here today, what will he be concluding? He and his team be concluding as he goes home?
I think he'll be concluding he's been extremely lucky to get away with it. They've made him sweat today. It's very hairy out there for him.
And the horse, yeah, it must be. It's hairy for everyone in the being battered by the gale here. But he's been taking big wads of money, and that Bourbon Prince is a horse you'll be following in the future, isn't it? That a horse that was well backed, that must have plenty of ability.
Yeah, it could be one that goes under the radar somewhere else.
Well, it won't go under the radar now, because we will be here. So this is a very unfair question, but say you were to price up the point-to-point gentleman's riding championship for this season, bearing in mind who's standing on your right, how would you price it up?
Yeah, so I would imagine that Will would be extremely hot favourite still. Yeah.
Extremely. I'll tell you what, Will, go back. No.
He's very determined, isn't he?
It will be. I'll tell you what's going to be really good about it, Simon, and thank you for everything today, is that it's going to give added interest to the last few weeks of the season, because we're going to talk to Will in 2 seconds. But it would be tremendous if it went all the way to, is it Kingston Blount, the last meeting of the season, yeah. If James and Will had a real battle. Don't you? Yeah. As a point-to-pointing enthusiast, wouldn't you love that?
Yeah, hopefully the press will pick up on it, and it will be extra added interest. And and knowing how determined Will is, and James, it'll be good.
And I'll tell you what, a well-known newspaper, won't name it, said that Will Biddick was in front in the point-to-point gentleman riders table yesterday, and didn't mention the person who is actually in front, and that didn't go unnoticed in James's household. Well done.
Thank you.
Double, and that was, that was a tremendous. Really enjoyed watching that over the last sort of 4 or 5 fences.
Yeah, no, he's a nice big horse, and he just took a while, 2.5 here, just to get into gear. And once he's got rolling, he's steamed forward. So no, good, solid result, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Charlie Post will be so pleased with you. He might send you to Kinondo Kwetu, which is in Kenya, some lovely resort.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
To go and sort of have a little bit of a holiday.
Couples retreat.
I think that's a very good, very good description of it indeed. Have you ridden much for Fran and Charlie?
Yeah, this is my first winner for them.
First winner.
I've had a few rides for them.
Right.
But it's been Charlie and Fran have been good supporters, and they're good friends of mine.
Yeah.
And we've always wanted to team up with the winner, and we've done it today.
And of course they employ James King.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Who has only had the double at Garthorpe.
I know, yeah. So at least we're the same.
But there is a flat race still. I think he's in the flat race, isn't he? Still, which is still to come, or is happening about now.
That's it, yeah.
But joking aside, obviously you'd love to be champion again. And when I just said it'd be great to have a real sort of tussle through the closing weeks, and you went, making all sorts of signs that way. But as an enthusiast for the sport, it would be tremendous if everyone could just get behind the two of you.
Make no mistake. Every year at the start of the season, my aim is to win the championship, and that's what's driving me on. So it's probably good. It's going to be really good for the game. That it's going to be a ding-dong battle, so to speak, with me and James, or with there's still Bradley isn't far behind, nor is Jack. They only need to have a good weekend, and me and James have a blank one, and they're back in it again, aren't they?
Yeah. So it could actually be a four-way go.
Exactly.
You could be ringing up. I don't only want to know what James is riding. What's Bradley riding? What's Jack riding?
Yeah.
Oh no! Look, there's Darren Edwards who's suddenly riding a lot of winners as well. So what number do you think will win? Bearing in mind there are 5 or 6 weeks to go. What sort of number do you think? You're 13-12, I think, at the moment.
I'd say we'll be in our 30s.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
If it's going to be nip and tuck.
Yeah.
No one's going to be given an inch, and I think could easily get into our 30s.
Right. Well, so that would be fun.
Well, if I'm in front, it'd be fun.
It'd be fun. Yeah, it'd be great fun for us to watch.
Yeah.
Is it Kingston Blount? It all ends.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
right.
And Lorne and Alan are. They'll make sure it's a good finale. They're great hosts and put a lot into the game. So it's nice that they've snapped up that meeting with the Torrington farmers not holding there. So it's good.
And I'll tell you what, I can't wait to maybe come back here in the future when there's a crowd, because we're behind closed doors under COVID.
That's it. It's a shame today, because this is Bank Holiday Monday. It's normally on, and you can't see for cars. Everyone's got a picnic, and it's a great day, and it's good for the hunt. So it's a shame they haven't been able to have the public today. But the main thing is we've had racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And where are you tomorrow?
At Lark Hill tomorrow. Just got a couple there. Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Well, we'll keep our beady eyes on how you and James and Jack and Bradley are all getting on.
That's it. Yeah.
But well done today.
Thanks, Cornelius. Cheers.
Super. That's Will Biddick, and I think it would be ludicrous to suggest that, and I probably did slightly imply that it could end up being James against Will, because Bradley Gibbs is right in there, and Jack Andrews is not too far away as well. So really look forward to the closing weeks or the remaining weeks of the season to see exactly how that goes. So Darren Edwards is being called to the paddock. He's not won something else, has he? He's probably won the lottery as well. But he and Dean Summersby have had an extremely good day here at Trebudannon today. And just in terms of what we've had so far today, sorry, being blown all over the place. We started off with the Dartmoor Rose and Darren Andrews successful. And then we had, after that, we had success. Sorry about this. We had success in the second race of the day for Eric III. And Eric III ridden to victory by Charlotte Summersby. Now you're just going to have to excuse me while I try and stop everything blowing away as we consider the third race of the afternoon, won by Porter Clock with Darren Edwards. And I think that's unquestionably a horse to be following. The Men's Open Los Alamos with Will Biddick. The Ladies Open, then we saw success in that one for the last but one. Good one for the bookmakers, the outsider of 4 successful. Couple of really intriguing maiden races as well here today. And Party Tunes won Division 1, beating Thursday at 8. I suspect both of those will have decent futures. Then in Division 2, we only had a couple of finishers, but we had a lot of interest there. Russian Invasion came home as the winner, but Bourbon Prince was well fancied. And then, as we've just heard, the last race of the afternoon turned into a tremendous duel during the closing stages of the race. KINONDO KWETU was successful, beating Funky Sensation. So that brings us to the end of the Fourborough Point to Point. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Do bear in mind, if you're going to join us again, we are transmitting about 5 minutes late, and that delay is insisted upon by the British Horse Racing Authority and the Point to Point Authority. A couple of quick thank yous to Rundle Weldon and to Dougie Knight, the landowners here, who allow this to take place. And what a tremendous 8-race card we've had here today. Normally 2 Fourborough point-to-points in a season, but just the one this year. But we'll be back to normal next year, as Will was just saying, hopefully with a big crowd as well. And on the screen behind me, a special presentation to Darren Edwards taking place here this afternoon. So I think it probably just remains for me to thank you for watching this afternoon, remind you about the various websites that are so helpful. One of those is the pointingdc.co.uk, the website for the Devon and Cornwall point-to-point area. The other is pointtopoint.co.uk, which has all the point-to-point news and the entries and how to make an entry and all the results and absolutely everything on a nationwide point of view. The pointingdc.co.uk is specifically for Devon and Cornwall. And Devon and Cornwall point-to-pointing moves next week to Fleet, and there will be another live feed of all the action from Fleet next Saturday afternoon, May the 1st. So I hope very much you might be able to join us for that. In the meanwhile, thank you for watching this afternoon. It's been great fun for us being able to give you the news. Sorry you couldn't be here, but hopefully that will change very soon. Sorry if the wind disrupted the transmission a little bit. Notes flying all over the place, concentration flying all over the place as well. But all in all, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll look forward to seeing you at Fleet in 7 days' time. Until then, goodbye and have a good weekend.